Hey everyone, it's Tracy Martirana here from Holistic Wellness with Tracy. Thank you for joining me. Recently, I went to the farmer's market and I came home with a bunch of beets and some cabbage, and I decided to make an Asian beet slaw. So to make that, I just start by cleaning and peeling my beets. You might notice that I have a plastic cutting board and I'm wearing gloves just because beets tend to stain things really easy, including your hands. So I try to keep everything wiped up nice so that I don't end up with red splotches all over. So I peeled them and then I'm cutting off the root end and then I'm just going to chop them in half. They're pretty small. I'm going to be processing them in my food processor, so I just need them small enough to fit down through the chute. I'm putting in my shredding attachment and then feeding them in. I dump my shredded beets into a bowl and I'll move on to my cabbage. You can use whatever quantities you want. I just used the biggest beets and I'm just going to use a couple slices off of this head of cabbage. I removed the outer leaves, the ones that were just a little bit beat up. Kept the pretty ones, and again, I'm just using maybe a quarter of this head, and it's a small head. Cabbage, once you start shredding it, what seems like just a little amount of cabbage ends up looking like a big amount of cabbage. And for some extra veggie goodness, I'm just going to throw in a couple carrots as well. So I'm just going to peel the skin off, chop the ends, and stick this in my shredder as well. You could use some other vegetables here if you had kohlrabi or even broccoli, actually cauliflower. Lots of options. Soon it will be Brussels sprout season, and making a Brussels sprout slaw would be delicious as well. One thing I love about having my cutting board right next to the sink is I can just wipe everything right off into the sink and run it down the garbage disposal. Makes cleanup nice and easy. So I finally let the gloves go now that I'm done shredding everything, and I'm going to mix up my Asian inspired dressing. I have this chunk of frozen ginger that I'm just going to grate right into the little bowl that I'm mixing my dressing in. Depending on how much ginger flavor you want, depends, that sort of decides how much ginger you're going to add. I probably grated off about an inch, maybe an inch of this chunk of ginger. And I'm going to add in some soy sauce, probably about a tablespoon, a little splash of sesame oil, just roasted sesame oil, and then some rice wine vinegar. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can also use like a white wine vinegar, would work just as well. and a little splash of olive oil. And then I'm just going to whisk this together and pour it over my slaw. And I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit of fresh parsley from the herb garden. I added just a little bit. I actually came back later before I served this up for dinner and added a little bit more because I felt I was a little stingy with the parsley the first time around, and I like the green flecks in it. And you'll notice when you look at the slaw, you can still see the cabbage in there. The more this sits, the more red it becomes. So the beets sort of overtake it and you end up with everything being red after a while. So if you eat it fresh, it looks like this. If you eat it a couple hours later, it will just look like beets. And then I'm just topping it with some sesame seeds. And there you go. I hope you'll give us a try. It is delicious.